हरे कृष्णा शरद प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा माता जी, संजीव प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्णा।
हाँ माता जी, हरे कृष्णा, दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा रक्षा माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु जी, may I start with the Kirtan Seva?
Yes, yes.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हो। हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय हो। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथावितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनं सहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण देवाय गो ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगद्गीताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हो। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हो। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गिरिधारी राधा गिरिधारी राधे जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय प्रभुपाद की जय हो श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हो टुडे आई एम डूइंग भ्रमर गीता chapter 47 10th canto Loka 12 onwards. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. भ्रमर गीत की जय हो गोप्युवाच मधुपतितवबन्धो मा स्पृशान्ते सपत्न्या कुचविलुलितमाला कुङ्कुमं श्रुभिर्नः वहतु मधुपतिस्तात् मानिनीनां प्रसादम् यदु सदसि विडम्ब्यम् यस्य दूतत्वमीद्र सकृदधरसुधां स्वां मोहिनीं पाययित्वा सुमनसैव साच तत्यजेस्मानं भवाद्री परिचरति कथं तत् पात्रपद्मानुपद्मा ह्यपिबत हतचेता युत्तमश्लोकजल्पे किमिह बहुषडङ्ग्रे गायसि त्वप्यनु तत्त्वं यदूनाम् अधिपतिमगृहाणाम् अग्रतो न पुराणम् विजय सखीनां गीयतां तत्प्रसङ्गः क्षपितकुचरुजास्ते कल्पयन्तीष्टमीष्टः दिवि भुवि चरसायां कां स्त्रियस्तद्दुरापाः कपटरुचिरहास भुविजृम्भस्य व्यां स्युः चरणरजयुपास्ते चरणरजयुपास्ते यस्य भूतिभयङ्का अपि च कृपणपक्षे उत्तमश्लोकशब्दः विसृज शिरसि पादं वेदम्यहं चाटुकारे अनुनय विदुषस्ते आप्यते दोते मुकुन्दात् स्वकृत इह विसृष्टा पात्यपात्यन्यलोका विसृजद कृतवेत्तेता किं नु सन्देयमस्मिन् मृगयुरिव कपेन्द्रं विव्यते लुब्धधर्मा श्रियमकृतविरूपां श्रीजितकामयानाम् बलिमपि बलिमत्वा वेष्टयत्वां त्वांशवाद्यस्तदलमसित सख्ये दुस्त्यजस्तः कथार्थः यदनुचरितलीला कर्णपीयूषविप्रून् सकृदनन विधूता द्वन्द्वधर्म विनष्टा सपदि गृहकुटुम्बं दीनमृत्युज दीना बहव इह विहङ्गा भिक्षुचर्यां चरन्ति वयमृतमिव जिह्वं व्याहतं श्रद्धदाना कुलिकरुतमिवाज्ञां कृष्णवतो हरिण्यः रससुरसकृतदेता तन्नखस्पर्शतीव्र स्मररुजयुपमन्त्री मन्यतामन्यवार्ताम् प्रिय सख पुनरागा प्रेयसा प्रेषितं किं परय किमनुरन्धे मानियोऽसि मेयं नयसि कथमिहास्मान् दुस्त्यजद्वन्द्वपार्श्वं सततमुरसि सौम्या श्रीवधूसाक्रमास्ते अपिबत मधुपुर्याम् आर्यपुत्रो धनुनास्ते स्मरति स पितृगेहान् सौम्यबन्धुश्च गोपान् क्वचिदपि स कथानं किङ्करीणां गृणीते कुजमगुरुसुगन्धं मूर्ध्यधास्यत्कदानु हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। भ्रमर गीत की जय हो, वृंदावन धाम की जय हो, ब्रजवासी की जय हो। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। Thank you, Prabhuji, for so wonderful seva. And pranam to all devotees.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. I welcome all the devotees to the today's session. Now, before we start the class, we start with the invocation prayers. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं तजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जेतां सुरतो पंगुर्मम मंदमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बोजो राधा मदनमोहन दिव्याद वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमः श्रीमद् रत्नांगर सिंहासन स्थितो श्रीमद् राधा श्रील गोविंद देवो पृष्ठालिभि सेव्यमानं स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थित दर्शनवेणुस्वनैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तु नः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. Now we will offer our obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. Namo Mahapadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauroti Se Namaha. O most magnificent incarnation, you are Krishna himself appearing as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden color of Srimati Radharani and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Krishna Bannam Tusa Krishnam Sangopangostra Parsadam Yagge Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Sumedasa. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Nana Shastra Vicharana Kai Nipuno Sadharma Sanstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manya Saranya Karo Radha Krishna Padara Vinda Vajanan Anandena Mattaliko Bande Rupa Sanatana Raghujugo Sri Jiva Gopalako. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the divine couple, Sri Radha and Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. With this, let us start today's class. Today we will be studying lesson 84 and tomorrow 83 and tomorrow 84. But before this, let us have the recap of lesson 82, which was covered last weekend. And that is chapter 46, Uddhava visits Vrindavan.
Hare Krishna. Welcome, dear devotees. Now we are going to recap the lesson 82. In lesson 82, we saw how Uddhava was visiting Vrindavan and what were the reactions of different devotees of the Braja. So, this is the first slide for today. So, the question will be, now Uddhava had unique qualifications. So, based on this, how does being so close to Krishna enable Uddhava to be chosen as a messenger to the Vrajavasis? Actually,
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please.
Okay, it's a very long question, and you are sharing here. Uddhava has all the so nice quality because Uddhava says, other than him, some places says you are the only my true friend, right? That's
Yes.
what he says. So he's associated with Krishna, and all through we see he was with him, and he acted as a counselor because of his qualification. We see many places, that incidents are there, and he was very close to them, to him.
Yes.
Second thing, he was exemplary devotee in the sense
Okay,
that.
Prabhu, I'm only looking for the first
Okay,
point.
only one. Okay, so okay, that's one. Thank
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare
So
Hare Krishna
here,
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
1 minute, Prabhu. Here I only was looking for this point where his closeness to Krishna was the key that was resonating with the emotional state of the Vrajavasis. That means he can convey the message to the Vrajavasis because he can also resonate with their emotional state. So that because he was so close to Krishna. So that was the only answer I was looking for. So
Okay.
the second question will be, what quality makes him a fitting messenger?
Yeah. Quitting messenger is basically he is renounced Mataji. Okay. All worldly attachments and connected only to Krishna.
Huh.
Okay. In that way, like he's like almost like a pure devotee. Okay?
Yes.
That is the quality. Okay. To fitting as a messenger.
Yes. Very good.
Okay.
And therefore, whatever Krishna wants to tell the Vrajavasis, he can easily tell.
He can easily tell. Correct.
Thank
Thank
you. The question third is, the third point, how does being a Buddhi Sattama help Uddhava to do this task of a messenger?
Shall I try Mataji?
Yes.
Okay. He is a disciple of Brihaspati.
Yes.
So he has a very, very great intelligence, Mataji.
Yes.
And that is what is going to help him to pass the message. Yeah.
Yes.
He
Very
has that capability, scholarly
good.
capability.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
it's also complemented by his emotional understanding of love. So that he
Correct.
both he has intelligence as well as he has a emotional understanding of
Emotional understanding. Yeah.
love. Both are there. So
Both are there. Correct.
yes. Thank you,
Thank
Prabhu.
you.
Question 4. How does he connect with the Vrajavasis?
Through consideration, Mataji, he has a lot of empathy for for their feelings, the
Yes.
feelings of separation that the Brajvasis are feeling for Krishna.
Yes.
So he can understand it nicely. But so he is not just well versed with the philosophical teachings, but he also can connect to the emotional state.
Yes. And provide comfort. So he can do both. He can understand them and he can also try to provide comfort to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very nice. So we'll move on to the next slide. In this slide, the question will be, what was the primary intention of Krishna? Primary intention of Krishna sending Uddhava to Vraja. I mean, the whole thing
Hare
is
Krishna.
done on, I would like
Yes.
to, yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Yes.
Primary intention of Lord Krishna to send Uddhava to Vraja is to understand the love and affection of Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mata और all gopis.
Yes.
सबका प्रेम देखने के लिए उन्होंने बहुत ही इंटेलिजेंट थे, मगर वो प्रेम के बारे में थोड़ा वो नहीं थे वो कि तो उन्होंने वो समझाने के लिए भगवान ने समझा कि उनको भेजो और वो समझ सके कि ये प्रेम क्या है, प्रेम
Yes.
कैसे हो सकता है. That's
Very
why
good.
he sent.
Very good. He wanted him to learn from the experiences. Nanda Maharaj का
हाँ.
experience, यशोदा मैया
Yes,
का, गोपीज का experience क्या है, ये देख के वो सीख सके कुछ, इसलिए उन्होंने भेजा. Very nice. Thank you very much. So next question, what did Krishna want Uddhava to learn from Nanda and Yashoda? Parental love, right? Yeah, he wanted them to recognize the depth of parental love. Kitna, what is the depth of parental love?
Depth of the parental.
वात्सल्य भाव.
Vatsalya. Correct.
And selfless, how it is selfless and how it is unconditional. Because in this material world, even though we are seeing this Vatsalya bhav in mothers and children, but it is not selfless and unconditional. There'll be something, there'll be little bit at least, some selfishness, some little bit, it will be tinted. Not very much, but slightly will be there because we are all material souls. So we cannot, not souls, we are material bodies and so therefore we definitely have this kind of contaminations.
Mataji, in present situation, mother has too much condition from the children.
Yeah, so this love is devoid of completely devoid of expectation.
Yeah, correct.
Transcendental love it is unconditional, completely devoid of expectation. So you cannot compare it to material love.
Yes, cannot compare. Because what to do? We are captured by Maya. So next question, what did Krishna want Uddhava to learn from the gopis?
That how the pain of separation is bringing them, giving them, making their love more intense. And this longing is basically acting like a catalyst, and how their love is growing deeper and deeper due to separation only.
Yes, so intense pain. That intense pain, he wanted him to see how the gopis are experiencing and how that intense pain and longing, how that is going to teach them, that this love is not some intellectual concept, but it's a deep emotion. And it's a divine.
I wanted to teach that love is not only intellectual concept, but it is emotional experience.
Yes, correct. I mentioned that. Thank you so much. Okay, so we go to the next slide number 4. Why could not Uddhava console the Vrajvasis through the Jnana philosophy? Now this is the whole thing. The 4th point. Why could he not control? This is the 4th point. Why could he not console the Vrajvasis through this Jnana philosophy, Jnana-based philosophy?
They were not in a state to receive intellectual concepts, but their hearts were very full of deep love and longing for Krishna. And
because it was abstract, no? Philosophical concepts are abstract. So when there is something which is really there, how can you concentrate on abstract things? Tomorrow we'll be singing a song which will really resonate with this philosophy. Yes. So because the philosophical jnana was very abstract, and it couldn't resonate with their love of separation.
प्रेम के आगे ज्ञान कुछ नहीं है, ऐसा है.
हाँ, माताजी?
प्रेम के आगे ज्ञान नहीं है.
हाँ, correct. Not
the emotions are, we can only love Krishna by emotions,
Yes.
Either of those 5 primary rasas, right? So I think that was the prime. Otherwise, with abstract, it's not possible. You remain here only. Yeah.
Yes, correct. Very good. So we'll go to the next slide. It's a slide number 5. Slide number 5. How did Nanda Baba welcome Uddhava?
when Nand Maharaj sees Uddhav, and he feels it a spark of joy, because Uddhav is very much resembling with Krishna.
Yes.
And he washes his feet and offers sweet rice.
Yes, and worships him. Yeah, very nice.
Worships him.
Next, what was Nanda Baba's heartfelt desire? What was it?
उनके वो डिजायर थी कि पहले वो कृष्ण के बारे में पूछे कि वो कैसे हैं, कब आएंगे. मगर वो क्यों, उन्होंने लगा अगर मैं वो पूछ लूंगा तो फिर दूसरा कुछ नहीं पूछ पाऊंगा, फिर मैं एकदम ग्रिफ में आ जाएंगे, मतलब बहुत ही दुखी हो जाएंगे, तो दूसरा कुछ नहीं पूछ पाएंगे. इसलिए उन्होंने वो पूछने से थोड़ा वो रखा, कंट्रोल रखे. बाद में पूछूंगा, पहले पूछ लेंगे तो फिर रोना शुरू हो जाए.
Very good. Yes. So he was waiting for, holding on to it, because otherwise he'll be overwhelmed with grief, right? But he wanted to tell Uddhava that, look at this condition of Raja. You see, desolate condition. And he wanted to see Krishna. His heartfelt desire was, I want to see Krishna at least once more. Okay, so that even all kinds of material wealth also, there's no value without Krishna's presence. So he wanted to tell him that. Yes. Okay, so we go on to the next slide where in this slide, why did Nanda say that tending the cows would lead to further sorrow?
बिकॉज जब भी वो जाते थे गायों को चराने के लिए, तब
Yeah.
सब जगह पे कृष्णा की मेमोरीज है.
Yeah.
सजा जहाँ भी जाते हैं वहाँ कृष्ण ही दिखते हैं उन्हें, और
Yeah.
कृष्ण की याद आती रहती है. तो
Yeah.
जब भी अगर वो गाय चराने के लिए जाती तो और याद आती है, क्योंकि
और
सारी
याद.
जगह पे एवरीवेयर देयर इज अ कृष्णा's memory.
Yeah. Intense memories will come
Intense
and
memory.
it will intensify their suffering. So that's why he was saying that. What was the condition of Mother Yashoda in separation? Someone else can answer?
She was overwhelmed with a lot of grief,
Yes.
and so that she was unable to give hospitality to Uddhava. She was
Yes.
so aggrieved,
Yeah.
and her tears were flowing continuously from her milk. Milk was flowing from her breast. It symbolizes that her motherly. It shows her motherly love for Krishna was so deep, and
Yes.
it was affecting her. The separation was impacting her a lot.
Yes. Wonderful. So we'll go to the next slide. How did Uddhava pacify Nanda and Yashoda? Now the whole slide is that. So I want you to give it to me in a brief. How did
Uddhav
Uddhava
pacifies Nanda that Krishna is sorry. Krishna is not your son only. He is Narayan. He's present everywhere, and you should not.
Yeah, he's a omnipresence and his super soul, and he grants
Super soul.
knowledge to everyone, and so like that he was trying to give them so much of knowledge that quite
He's the
intimidating
God.
because they were in totally a different bhava, very different rasa. And Uddhava was assuring them that you don't worry, your dedication and all will not go in vain, you know. You have served the Lord, you know. All these years you have served the Lord and you have given him unconditional love. So definitely he will not take any birth. He will not go into the cycle of birth and death. So he was, they were not even bothered whether they will be born again and they just wanted Krishna as their son. So this was totally a new thing for them. Okay, so next, how does Uddhava conclude his teachings to Nanda and Yashoda? Now the conclusion of his teachings. Here.
Conclusion is only that Krishna is not your son only. He is the son of all, and he is the supreme absolute truth. And he is free from all material attachments. And all these.
So he was respecting their emotional connection with Krishna, but he was also
and
telling
everything
that
is
Krishna is
connected
connected with the whole universe.
Yeah, everything is connected to Krishna. That is what his conclusion is.
Yes. Not only that you are connected with him and he is connected with you, but
Yeah,
he
everything
is
is
connected with everyone, the whole
Everyone.
universe. So he wanted
Everyone in this universe. Everyone.
to
Everything. Not everyone.
everything and
Everything.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
The whole universe was interconnected with Krishna. So he wanted to emphasize that. Then, why was Uddhava not able to pacify Nanda and Yashoda?
Extraordinary love of parental love, true love.
Yes.
So this is the reason.
Yeah.
Main.
So he was not able to pacify them.
Yes.
And their love was not based just on his divine qualities. Just because he was divine,
Yes, not godly
that was not the basis of their love.
Yes, correct. It was not merely based on his godly qualities, right? It was a genuine bond with Krishna they had. So therefore, they could not be pacified by his jnana philosophy.
It's
Because
spontaneous love, right, Mataji?
yes, yes,
Spontaneous.
yes, it's spontaneous. And he was interpreting Uddhava's view as very simplistic, you know, that Uddhava cannot grasp my deep connection with Krishna like that Ananda Baba was feeling. How much my love is there for Krishna. Why this fellow is not understanding at all? So he was in that, he was thinking like that, and therefore he could not pacify them. He was in a totally different level altogether. So what
So
was
it will be like Mataji, if a person from the Bhakti platform is receiving lectures from the Advaita philosophers, so then he
yes,
cannot
correct,
understand anything.
exactly. So, what is Nanda's message for Krishna now?
Nanda wants a message to send Krishna, his message to Krishna that we have true love for Krishna. They wanted to give the message that express their devotions and they
Ask for Krishna's mercy, and then ask Krishna to please take him
Return.
back to Vraja.
Yeah.
That was his thing, and he wanted to show that Nanda Baba wanted Krishna to know that he was his true father, and he was so devoted to
father.
him.
Yes.
Okay, so the last slide. What do the gopis do early in the morning? The morning rituals of the gopis. What do they do in the morning?
They worship the entrance of their homes, churn yogurt, and they are always in the thought of Krishna.
Yeah. Yes, although Krishna was not around, but they were completely doing their activities as per normal, and then they were always focused, absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna. And their actions were reflecting what? Their actions were reflecting their longing for him. So although the hands were moving mechanically, but inside their hearts were only longing was there. And how they were adorning themselves with ornaments, vibrant colors. This was showing that they were expecting Krishna to come back any moment. Anytime Krishna will be back. So they didn't want to be morose and sulking. They wanted to be ready to welcome Krishna. So what is the gopis' reactions to Uddhava's arrival?
By seeing him, like they are thinking that like Krishna may be coming back. Okay, Akrura will return to Vraja along with Krishna. That is the what their emotion, Mataji. Okay.
And they were very eager to receive news from
Yeah,
Uddhava.
very eager to receive. Okay.
Because they were undergoing such severe emotional turmoil. So
Yeah.
they had such intense longing. They wanted to connect with Krishna. So their feelings were really terribly emotional. And
Yeah.
therefore, they wanted.
Simply, they just want Krishna, Mataji. That's all. Nothing else.
Yeah. So
As simple as that. Yeah.
they were reacting, that they were having great hope in their hearts when they saw Uddhava. So that was their thing. Okay, thank you all very much. That was my last question for the day. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. I'll just share my slide. I welcome all the devotees once again to the today's session. Till now, what we have learned, Uddhava has reached Braja. He has not yet interacted with the gopis. He interacted with Nanda and Yashoda. Now, in today's lesson, we'll see the forward. That is what happens next day morning when Uddhava is seen by the gopis and the other Brajavasis. Now, we'll be covering this chapter 47. It has got 69 verses. It is termed as the Song of the Bee or known as Brahmar Gita also. And today we'll be covering 22 verses, that is 1 to 22. And tomorrow in lesson 84, we'll be covering 23 to 69. Now, here in the first 10 verses, expressing loving anger toward Krishna, the gopis crowd around Uddhava as the messenger of Krishna. When they came to know that Uddhava has come from Braja, he must have brought some message from Krishna. They surrounded him to find out what Krishna has told about the gopis. Then next 11 to 22, this is basically the Brahmar Gita. Sri Radha in her Divya Unmada. What is Divya Unmada? The 10 types of Chitrajalpa. We have already studied in our previous course, that is Ujjala Nilamani, but we will just revisit them just to remind you to recollect what all these terms they mean. Then Uddhava praises the gopis and relates Krishna's message to them. This portion we will be seeing tomorrow, about 23 to 69. Then also tomorrow we'll see in crying out for Krishna, the gopis couldn't give up their hopes of uniting with him. The gopis never left that hope that Krishna will ever return. They knew that Krishna will certainly return, because when he went from Braja to Mathura, he himself had said that I will return, and he did so actually. But that happened after 100 years. He came back. But all those years, the gopis, they were in a very, very miserable condition. Then the final thing will
Actually, Sir Prabhuji,
yes.
let me stop here. It's not just 100 years. He did come in between after killing Dantavakra, Viduratha. He came for 2 months, remember? That we covered
yes,
in one of the course.
Yes.
So he did come in between.
Then staying several months in Braja, Uddhava sings the glories, the gopis' unparalleled love for Krishna. All the things we'll see. Now, please remember that why Uddhava had come. Krishna, what happened? He suddenly remembered his Vrindavana pastimes, and he started to breathe heavily. The lotus garland on his around his neck began to shake, and Krishna remembered his pastimes with the Braja gopis, and he started crying. And due to this, he was unable to do anything. Lord Krishna thought for a moment how to cross over this shore of that ocean of distress which has come in front of him, and proceeded up to the jewel-studded roof of the palace. And seeing that Uddhava had come close to him, he wished to reveal his heart to him, but due to feelings of love, no words actually came out from his mouth. And thereafter he told Uddhava that when we heard from Akrura about Kansa's puffed up order, we came along with him. That is, we means Krishna and Balrama, they came from Vrindavan to Mathura. And at that time, the young gopis, they entered into an ocean of separation from me. Now they are somehow or the other keeping their life force within their bodies. Therefore, all the gopis and especially beautiful Srimati Radharani, who has no equal and is most dear to me than my life itself, is somehow at this time remaining alive due to Lalita Vishakha and the other gopi friends who are tactfully convincing her that I will come back, I will return to Vrindavan very soon. He knew everything. Therefore, he is asking Uddhava, you please go to Nandagram, where Nanda Maharaj stays, and that is situated on a beautiful hill covered by wonderful creepers and the best of trees, and surrounded by walls made of priceless jewels. And there kindly deliver my message to Srimati Radharani, who has been bitten by the snake of separation, and is feeling unlimited anguish in her heart. Please try to bring her back to life and make her happy again. He also said that they are in Vrindavana. What to speak of the moving beings? Even the trees, the creepers, grass, and the other non-moving living entities would have been burnt up in the fire of separation from me long ago. And if it is not for the tears of the gopis falling on them, that they would not have existed. And he told Uddhava that when gopis would see me even a little distressed, they became very unhappy. But they would not become even a little distressed if a mountain of unhappiness came upon them. So please do not tell them about the unlimited unhappiness I am feeling due to their separation. Simply remind them how much I love them. Then he sent Uddhava, and as we discussed last time, Nandagram is about 90 kilometers from Mathura. That is in the path Krishna had traveled while coming from Braja to Mathura, and Uddhava was sent on the same route which Krishna had come from Nandagram. Now, this chapter, that is chapter 47, describes how Uddhava, on the order of Krishna, delivered the Lord's message to the gopis, and he consoled them and returned to Mathura after 6 months. He had said in a day or two I will return, but finally he came back after 6 months. And when the gopis of Braja, they saw lotus-eyed Uddhava, who was wearing a yellow garment and attractive earrings, they were astonished at how much he resembled Krishna. They were thinking, who is this person? And they approached and encircled him. Then they realized that Krishna must have sent him. They brought him to a secluded place, and so that he could speak to them confidentially, and the other Brajavasis, they would not be there, so that they can talk to him peacefully. Now the gopis, they began to remember the pastimes they had enjoyed with Krishna, and putting aside all ordinary propriety and shyness, they loudly wept. One gopi, while deeply meditating on her association with Krishna, noticed a bumblebee before her. Imagining the bee to be a messenger from Krishna, she said, actually, Radharani only, just as bees wander among the various flowers, Krishna has abandoned the young girls of Braja and developed affection for the women of Mathura. And this gopi continued to speak in this way, contrasting her own supposed ill fortune to her rival lover's good fortune, while glorifying the names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Krishna. She then declared that although Krishna may have abandoned the gopis, they could not possibly stop remembering him even for a moment. Then Uddhava tried to console the gopis of Braja, who were anxious to see Krishna once again. Uddhava explained, while ordinary persons must perform many pious deeds to qualify as servants of Krishna, you simply, the coward girls, are so extremely fortunate that the Lord has favored you with the very highest degree of your devotion to Him. Uddhava then related to them the Lord's message. Uddhava said that I am the quoted Krishna. Krishna had told him to convey the message. I am the super soul and supreme shelter of all. And by my potencies, I create, maintain, and destroy the cosmos. I am indeed most dear to you, gopis, but to increase your attraction for me and intensify your remembrance of me, I left you from Braja. And after all, when a woman's beloved is far away, she fixes her mind upon him constantly. And now the gopis then asked Uddhava, is Krishna happy now that Kamsa is dead and he can enjoy the company of his family members and the women of Mathura? Does he still remember all the pastimes he enjoyed with us in Braja, such as the Rasa dance? Will Krishna once again appear before us and give us ecstasy, just as Lord Indra with his rain gives back the forest aggrieved by the summer heat? Although we know that the greatest happiness comes from renunciation, we simply cannot stop hoping to attain Krishna, for the marks of his lotus feet are still present throughout Braja, and they remind us of his graceful movements here in Braja, the generous smiles, the gentle talks, and by all these our hearts have been stolen away. Now, saying this, the gopis loudly chanted Krishna's names, saying that, "O Govinda, please come and destroy our suffering." Uddhava then pacified the gopis with statements that dispelled their pain and separation, and they in turn worshipped him as none different from Krishna. And Uddhava stayed in Braja for 6 months, giving pleasure to the residents by reminding them about Krishna in various ways, and very satisfied at seeing the extent of the gopis' love for the Lord. He declared that these coward girls have perfected their lives by coming to the platform of unalloyed love for Krishna. Indeed, even Lord Brahma is inferior to them. The goddess of fortune herself, who always resides on Krishna's chest, could not get the same mercy as that which the gopis obtained during the Rasa dance, and when Krishna embraced their necks with his mighty arms. And finally, Uddhava entreated Nanda Maharaj and the other coward men for permission to go back to Mathura. And Nanda Maharaj presented him with many gifts and prayed to Uddhava for the ability to always remember Krishna. And returning to Mathura, Uddhava offered Balrama, Krishna, and King Ugrasena the gifts sent by Nanda Maharaj and described to them everything he had experienced. Now here one verse will come in this chapter 47, which is also very famous. After interacting with the gopis of Braja, Uddhava he actually understood that his knowledge of the absolute truth, that is, he was in the Jnana platform, that was nothing compared to the love of the gopis for Krishna. That's why what he said, Asamoha charana rena means the gopis of Vrindavana has given up the association of their family members, the husbands, sons, and everybody, which is very difficult to give up, and they have forsaken the path of chastity to take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, Mukunda, which one should search for by Vedic knowledge. And he wished that let me be fortunate enough to be one of the bushes, creepers, or herbs in Vrindavana, because the gopis trample them and bless them with the dust of their lotus feet. Now, please remember, by saying this, Uddhava shows that he is a perfect Vaishnava. He is perfectly humble. He does not pray to be equal to the gopis in their exalted stage of love. Like last time we talked about Uddhava, he is the closest to Lord Krishna. He could have asked him a boon, let me be born in Braja as a gopi, but he didn't ask that. Rather, he wanted to take birth as a bush or creeper in Vrindavana, so that when the gopis they walk upon him, he will get the dust of their feet and thus be blessed. The shy gopis would never agree to give such blessings to a great personality like Uddhava. Therefore, he cleverly sought to get such mercy by taking birth as a plant in Vrindavana. Now, he wished to become a shrub or a plant in Vrindavana, but actually, did he become like that? Now, this is given in the Skanda Purana. In Bhagavat Mahatmya, there is a verse which says, Govardhana Nikate, that is near Govardhana, Sakhi Sthale, that is the place near Kusum Sarovar, Tatra Jat Kamaha, Tatra Sang Kuruvilla Rupena Sa Uddhava Nunam. The Uddhava is present there personally as a plant or bush or tree near Kusum Sarovar. Now, this is very, very important. Why I am saying, even I'll just tell in a very brief story. After Krishna's departure from the material world, the queens of Dwaraka, they were feeling very deep separation. Then they came to Vrindavana and took shelter of Vajranava, who was Krishna's grandson, great grandson. Now, there in the holy Dhama, they came across Kalindi, a co-wife of Krishna, who seemed to be coping quite well. And when they inquired how she dealt with the pain of Krishna's departure and the subsequent separation, she explained them the remedy. She said that when the gopis were feeling intense separation from Krishna, Uddhava pacified them with his words. So you can go to Uddhava and request the same. Now, hearing that Uddhava has been granted the eternal residence in Govardhana area, they set off to find him. And in the association of Maharaj Parikshit and Bhajarnava and accompanied by a kirtan, very grand kirtan party, they arrived at Kusum Sarovar. Uddhava, who looked identical with Krishna, suddenly emerged from the groups. He empathized with the distress of the queens and explained to them that although Krishna had concluded his pastimes and left this world, he would still be seen in another way through the narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam. And there, Uddhava narrated Srimad Bhagavatam to them for 1 month. And please remember that in that narration, Parikshit Maharaj was not there. Parikshit Maharaj, he was told to keep an eye on Kali, because he told him that Uddhava had told Parikshit Maharaj that time will come when you will hear Srimad Bhagavatam, and that we know. Okay, let us go to the next slide. Upon encountering Uddhava, adorned in Krishna's vibrant yellow garment and striking earrings, this happened early in the morning. Next day, he arrived. They were taken aback by his striking resemblance to Krishna. He was looking almost same as Krishna. Intrigued, they approached him and formed a close circle around him. And upon realizing that Krishna had undoubtedly sent him, they led him to a secluded spot for a private conversation. And this moment illustrates the theme of.
Let me stop here for you 1 minute. You know, Uddhava was used to wear Krishna's clothes, Krishna's ornaments, everything right from childhood onwards. He never had his own clothes or ornaments. Always Krishna's clothes, ornaments, he used to always wear that, you know.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Actually, he used everything used by Krishna. He never used to eat anything other than the prasada of Krishna. Whatever the remnants remained in his plates, he used to take that. He wore the clothes which were discarded by Krishna. He never had anything, any association with anything which had no relation with Krishna. That is what is the greatness of Krishna. This also we spoke in detail last time. Now, the gopis, they led him to a secluded spot for a private conversation. And this moment illustrates the theme of divine love, madness, unmada, mahabhava. This will speak in the discuss in the next slide. Now, humility and bashfulness, the verses 1 to 5, the gopis demonstrate a remarkable humility in their interactions with Uddhava, embodying a profound modesty and bashfulness in the presence of such an esteemed figure.
What is many people might not know what is bashfulness. There's a little shyness is there, you know. That's called bashfulness.
We'll discuss about that also. and their respectful demeanor not only showcases their character, but also underscores the cultural values of humility that govern relationship. I'll be talking about them. But please, in the very beginning, remember that the gopis, their love for Krishna is devotional service only, bhakti only. Why? Because in Narada Bhakti Sutra, Narada says, Premaiva Karyam, Premaiva Karyam, Premaiva Karyam. Prema, the unconditional love for the Supreme Lord, that is what is devotional service. And even the Acharyas say that Mahaniya Vishaya Priti Bhakti, the love for the Supreme Lord Godhead, that is what is Bhakti. This we should remember. Then, okay. Now, what happened about Krishna, why he sent, all these things we have learned. And now, let us go to, I'll quote certain, some sentences from Uddhava Sandesa by Rupa Goswami. I had circulated this in the group. Some of you may have gone through it. Now, in this Rupa Goswami, in 131 verses, he describes this Uddhava Sandesh, what in, transpired between Uddhava and the gopis, that in very, very great detail. If you find time, please go through them. Now, Sri Krishna and Uddhava, they look remarkably alike that even the gopis were confused. Since the Braja, in Braja, Uddhava came in his yellow dhoti and without his gold crown, they both have bodily blue complexion. Their complexion is same. He was wearing the same dress, but he was not wearing the crown. Now, the only difference between the two is that only Krishna wears his peacock feather crown, and Uddhava he does not, because that is specially meant for Krishna only. That is used by Krishna, and not even Balrama he wears that. That means what actually happened, what we were talking in the previous slide, the young women of Braja, that is the gopis, they became astonished when they saw Krishna's servant. He had long arms like Krishna, whose eyes resembled the newly grown lotus like Krishna only, who was wearing a yellow garment like Krishna, and a lotus garment, a lotus garland as Krishna wears, and his lotus-like face also glowed brightly with the polished earrings. That's why they started asking amongst each other, who is this handsome person? Then the gopis also asked, where has he come from? And whom does he serve? He is wearing Krishna's clothes and ornaments. Saying this, the gopis, they crowded around Uddhava and they tried to find out what was it. And these gopis, at that time, they had great humility. They were bowing down their heads in front of Uddhava. They the duly honored Uddhava with their shy, smiling glances and their pleasing words. And they took him to a quiet place, seated him comfortably, and began to question him, for they recognized him to be a messenger of Krishna. And the gopis said, we know that you are the personal servant of Krishna, and that you have come here on the order of your good master, who desires to give pleasure to his parents. They are not talking about the gopis, and they say that we see nothing else Krishna might consider worth remembering in these covered pastures of Braja. Indeed, the bonds of affection for one's family members are difficult to break even for a sage, but Krishna has broken that, and he must have forgotten us. The gopis tried to say that we do not see anyone else worthy of remembrance in Braja. In other words, if Krishna has in this way disregarded even his parents, that is Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, whom he remembers, then how it is possible for him and for such persons like us to have place in this memory, place him in our memory at all? Even those who take sannyasa find it hard to give up the relationship with their father and mother. But Krishna has very easily given up his relationship with countless wives of others with whom he enjoyed the countless nights, and see the severity of Krishna's renunciation. That's what the gopis they were trying to tell amongst each other, but they were being very, very humble in their approach. And go to the next slide. The motivated friendship, the verses 6 to 8. The gopis contended that many friendships are deeply rooted in selfish motivations, critically examining the notion of connections that lack genuine emotional strength, depth. They the present compelling examples that illustrate the transient nature of superficial friendships. This will talk about these things also. The discussion delves into the complexities of male-female relationship, likening men to bees that abandon flowers. The gopis lament the fickleness of men, emphasizing the stark disparities in emotional investment between the genders. The gopis employ vivid analogies to reveal how easily relationships can be discarded when motivations change, suggesting that true connections are both rare and superficial. What they are trying to say, the friendship which is shown towards others, those who are not family members, is motivated by personal interest. And thus it is a pretense that lasts only until one's purpose is fulfilled. And such friendship is just like the interest men take in women or bees in flowers. The bees, they collect honey and they run away, and thereafter they do not come back. And on this verse, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he tries to say that the attractive, the women like flowers possess beauty, fragrance, tenderness, charm, and so on. And the bees drink only once of a flower's nectar and then leave it for another. And likewise, the fickle men abandon beautiful and devoted women to pursue other pleasures. And this tendency is condemned here by the gopis who gave their hearts to completely to Krishna. And the gopis wanted only to exhibit their charm for Krishna's pleasure. And in the pain of separation, they questioned the motives of his friendship with the gopis. Now, these are the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Both Lord Krishna and the gopis are completely liberated souls engaged in spiritual loving affairs. And by contrast, our so-called loving affairs in the material world, these are perverted reflections of the perfect loving relationship in the spiritual world, and these are polluted with lust, greed, pride, like this. And all the liberated, like all the liberated souls, the gopis, and certainly the Lord Krishna himself are eternally free from these lower qualities. And their intense loving affairs are motivated exclusively by unalloyed motivation. And this is what is to be remembered. And what the gopis they were trying to say, like the prostitutes, they abandon a penniless man, subjects, they abandon an incompetent king, the students, their teacher, once they have finished their education, and the priest, a man who has remunerated them for a sacrifice, like this, and also gave the example of how the birds abandon a tree when its fruits are gone, and guests they leave a house after they have eaten, and animals they leave a forest that has been burnt down. and a lover, the women he has enjoyed, even though she remains attached to him. These are the various examples the gopis are giving to Uddhava. Now the next point, Tyakta Lokika, or putting aside worldly affairs. Now the term Tyakta Lokika, it captures how the gopis rise above societal conventions by fervently articulating their deep love for Krishna. Even though they were saying so many things, but they are in great love for Krishna, and in loving anger they are expressing these words, and in their heartfelt songs celebrating his childhood and youth, the gopis become completely engulfed in devotion, disregarding all worldly concerns as they openly weep before Krishna's messenger Uddhava and the praise of his childhood and youth, Kaisara Balayaha, that emphasizes the unwavering and unconditional nature of their love for Krishna, which has endured since their earliest days. Now, here what is happening? Thus speaking, the gopis, as we know, their words, bodies, and minds, they are totally dedicated to Krishna and nobody else. They put aside all their regular work now that Krishna's messenger Uddhava has arrived in Braja. Now, constantly remembering the activities of their beloved Krishna had performed in his childhood and youth, they sing about them and cried without any shame. The word Balaya here indicates that ever since their childhood, the gopis had been completely in love with Krishna. Thus, even though the social custom dictated that they do not reveal their love to others, they forgot all external considerations and openly wept before Krishna's messenger, that is Uddhava. And now, this is what is about the love of the gopis for Krishna. Now let us go on to the next slide. We'll revisit what we have learned in Ujjwala Nilamani, the prerequisite understanding of the 10 types of Chitrajalpa in Srimati Radharani, Divyonmada. Now the Brahmar Gita will come, we'll learn from verses 11 until 22. Now, all these words like Prajalpa, Parijalpa, like all these things which we'll be talking, there are no equivalent English words. That's why these words as it is, they have been used. The first one is Prajalpa. Now, I'll tell you in what is given in the slide in that language, and in my language also I'll describe what are these so that you remember them. Now, what is Prajalpa? Prajalpa is the lover consumed by spite and passion, hurls sharp insults at her beloved, channeling her the stimulus emotions. Now, what the lover is doing, she is trying to abuse, rather hurl insults at the lover, and that is the gopis, especially Srimati Radharani. She will be using these words. And Parijalpa, Parijalpa is the lover passionately contends that her beloved, the master of the heart, is heartless, twisted, and capricious. He is not caring for any one of us, and he has gone away from here. He is not returning, like all these things. And Vijalpa, Vijalpa is while her heart reveres and cherishes for Krishna, she outwardly directs scornful glances and utters biting words, showcasing her inner conflict. Though she wants Krishna to be Krishna within, but outwardly she is showing up this. This is known as Vijalpa. Then Ujjalpa. Ujjalpa is in a fit of anger and pride. The lover lashes out at Krishna, branding him a rogue, a scoundrel, and there are so many other things they call him. And Sanjalpa, Sanjalpa is with a sharp tongue, the lover ridicules Krishna, accusing him of ingratitude in a clever, sarcastic manner. And Avijalpa, Avajalpa, the lover voices her trepidation that about the risks of loving Krishna, warning that he is cruel, lust-driven, and treacherous. Now, we'll understand this in a different language also. And as we know, we have already learned them in Ujjwala Nilamani. Now, Parijalpa is when the lover spitefully, maliciously, and passionately insults the beloved. This is known as Prajalpa. Now, what is Parijalpa? When the lover claims that the beloved, who is the master of her heart, is merciless, crooked, and fickle. This is called Parijalpa. Now, Vijalpa, when in the heart one honors and loves Krishna, externally she casts spiteful glances and speaks spiteful words, and this is known as Vijalpa. And what is Ujalpa? When the lover angrily, arrogantly, and spitefully insults Krishna, calling him a wreck and a rogue, that this is known as Ujalpa. And Sanjalpa, when the lover mocks Krishna with many sarcastic words and asserts that Krishna is ungrateful, that is called Sanjalpa. And Avajalpa, when the lover says that because Krishna is harsh, lusty, and crooked, she is afraid of what is loving Krishna may bring, and this is known as Avajalpa. Then let us know the balance four things. Abhijalpa. Serial 6 was Abhajalpa, this is Abhijalpa. Is cynically the lover exclaims, what a folly it is to fall for Krishna. He is so cruel that he even torments the innocent creatures around him. Then Ajalpa. Ajalpa means overwhelmed with disdain. The lover declares, Krishna is deceitful and wicked, bringing nothing but sorrow. We ought to cease our discussions about him and turn our attention to something far more delightful. We should not talk about him at all because he has left us and he is giving us pain. And Pratijalpa, Pratijalpa is the lover asserts Krishna behaves like a highwayman in matters of love, reveling in pastimes with numerous girls. It would be wise for him to distance himself from me. This is Pratijalpa. And Sujalpa, Sujalpa is with sincerity and a restless heart. The lover earnestly poses a multitude of questions about Krishna, seeking to understand him reply. Now, let us understand these things in a little different words. Now, Avijalpa means when the lover says it is foolish and useless to fall in love with Krishna, he is so cruel, he tortures even the innocent birds. And these crooked words are called Abhijalpa. Now, Ajalpa, when the lover, filled with disgust, declares Krishna is crooked and deceptive, he only gives us pain. We should stop talking of him and instead talk about something else, something more pleasant. That is known as Ajalpa. And Pratijalpa, when the lover declares Krishna is a highwayman in loving affairs, he is a rat who likes to enjoy pastimes with many girls. Therefore, he should not come anywhere near me. And that is known as Pratijalpa. And Sujalpa, when the lover sincerely, deeply, humbly, and recklessly asks many questions about Krishna, that is known as Sujalpa. Let us go on to the. Okay, now we'll have a 3 minutes break. And in this break time, please ponder over, think over what has been spoken so far, especially the types of Chitrajalpa, the gopis, especially headed by Srimati Radharani, what she will be saying, this we'll see in our next after the break. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji. The Prabhuji, the Nandagram, the distance says 90 kilometer. Is that the 90 kilometer?
Actually, there are many versions. Many versions. If we see the roads connecting Nandagram at present, those roads have come up now. But I have seen from the commentaries of Rupa Goswami's his book and the commentaries there. Somewhere it is written 90 kilometers also. Though I also feel the same way like you. It should not be more than about 40-45 kilometers or so. That is very true, but might be at that time there were no roads. They used to go through all the forested areas from all these places. That's why it could have been or rough thing we can say, even if it is 45, 50 kilometers, that is also quite good enough, because Akrura also had gone through that route.
One day.
Now Uddhava had also gone through that route.
Yeah, Akrura also took one full day, 12 hours, right? Morning he started to reach only just evening.
But that was for a different reason, because he used to get ecstasy when he saw the footprints of Krishna en route, and he remembered the pastimes, remembered about Krishna. That was for a different reason. But for Uddhava, it was different.
Okay, yeah. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा सरस प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। प्रभु जी, ये जो पीपीटी जो स्क्रीन पे आ रही है वो मेरे पास नहीं है, ये वाली।
ओके ओके,
वो तो दूसरे प्रभु जी प्लीज शेयर कर दीजिए ना ग्रुप पे।
ओके ओके, दिस विल बी डन।
हाँ प्रभु जी।
ओके, okay, if there are no other questions, then we'll go ahead. We'll deeply analyze the Brahmar Gita, the Song of the Bumblebee, and basically these are the verses 11 to 22. Okay. Now, here what is happening in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is written, one of the gopis, while meditating on her previous association with Krishna, saw a bumblebee before her and imagined it to be a messenger who has been sent by her beloved Krishna to the gopis. And thus she spoke.
Prabhuji,
Yes, yes.
Prabhuji, there's if you press a couple of times, no, the bumblebee will be showing the expanded version, you know.
Yes. Yes, that will come. Yes. You see the bumblebee. Okay, now we'll talk about this in very great detail. This one gopi which we are talking, she is none other than Srimati Radharani. Radharani only. Now, according to Sanatana Goswami's Vaishnava Tosani, this gopi is the embodiment of the seventh stage of Krishna Prema, pure love of Godhead. That is Mahabhava. As we know, we have already studied in great detail the seven stages: Sneha, Mana, Pranaya, Raga, Anuraga, Bhava, Mahabhava, which is the essence of Krishna's pleasure potency. In other words, this gopi is Srimati Radharani, and imagining in her meditation how Krishna is associating with women of Mathura, Radhika experiences the rise of jealous anger, that is mana, within herself, and thinks, my beloved Sri Krishna has sent this messenger to pacify me. And in certain other explanations, it is said that this bumblebee was not Krishna's messenger, but Krishna himself. Actually, all these words which Srimati Radharani is saying, they are actually directing these words to Uddhava, because Uddhava has come as a messenger of Krishna. That's why she is telling all these things, words to Uddhava only. And regarding this one gopi, certain gopi, Kechit, this thing, even Jiva Goswami has quoted Agni Purana to say that this is she is nobody other than Srimati Radharani. Because at dawn, when the gopis they inquired from Krishna's servant, that is Uddhava, about the pastimes and recreation, only Srimati Radharani got immersed in thought of Krishna and withdrew her all interest in the talks. These gopis, they were talking to Uddhava, but Radharani was not taking part in this. Then Radha spoke up in the midst of her girlfriends, and her words were full of transcendental knowledge and expressed is the ultimate portion of the Vedas.
In our course when we did this Priti Sandarbha, each of these 10 steps we discussed at much greater length, all these 10 steps.
Yes, Prabhuji. Now I hope all devotees remember what we have learned, because if you remember, then it will be easier to connect up. Now the gopi said, "Oh Bumblebee, you are a friend of the cheater. That's why don't touch my feet by your whiskers. Because your whiskers, they are smeared with the kumkuma that rubbed onto Krishna's garland when it was crushed by the breasts of a rival lover." That is, they are talking of what would be happening in Mathura, the girls of Mathura. Now let Krishna satisfy the women of Mathura. One who sends a messenger like you will certainly be ridiculed in the Yadu assembly. And Srimati Radharani actually indirectly chastised Krishna by chastising the bumblebee, which she looked for as his messenger, that is Krishna's messenger. And she addressed the bumblebee as Madhupa, one who drinks the nectar of flowers. And she addressed Krishna as Madhupati, the Lord of Madhu. And here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he also points that these verses, they exemplify 10 kinds of impulsive speech spoken by a lover. And like what we saw, Prajalpa, Pratijalpa, like this, all these, they illustrate the qualities as described by Rupa Goswami in Ujjala Nilamani. And Parijalpa is speech that denigrates the tactlessness of one's lover with actions or expressions of disrespect. It is spoken in the mood of envy, jealousy, and pride. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points that the gopis, they are showing disrespect, while there is one phrase in one of the verses which says Yadu Sadati, that is meant to the end of the verse, decries Krishna's tactless treatment of Radharani, even though he is Yadupati. All these things, they are given in very, very great detail in the Acharya's commentaries also. And let us see what else Radharani is saying about them. After making us drink the enchanting nectar of his lips only once, Krishna has suddenly abandoned all of us, just as you might quickly abandon some flowers. That is, she is telling the bumblebee. And how is it that goddess Padma willingly serves his lotus feet, that is, Lakshmi is serving the lotus feet of Krishna, the answer must certainly be that her mind has been stolen away by his deceitful words, like us, the gopis. And Radharani continues to compare Krishna to the bumblebee, and in her distress, she states that the reason for the goddess of fortune is constantly devoted to his lotus feet must be that she has been fooled by Krishna, unlike all of us. And then she also says, why do you sing here so much about the Lord of the Yadus in front of us homeless people? These topics are old news to us. There is nothing new in this. Better you sing about that friend of Arjuna in front of his new girlfriends and the burning desire in whose breast she has now relieved. These ladies will surely give you the charity you are begging. She is trying to tell, go to the ladies of Mathura and why you have come here. You have no place here in Braja. Then she is lamenting, and she is saying that the other gopis gave up their homes to love Krishna in a conjugal relationship. The Lord has left them and become a prince in a great royal city of the Yadus. And here Radharani is moved in the seed of jealous anger, that is mana, which arises from an apparent disdain from Krishna, accompanied by sarcastic sidelong glance directed toward him. And also she says that in heaven or earth or in the subterranean sphere, what women are unavailable to him. He simply arches his eyebrows, and that is sidelong glances, smiles with deceptive charm, and they all become his. The supreme goddess herself worships the dust of his lotus feet. So that what is our position in comparison? But at least those who are wretched can chant his name, Uttama Sloka. Now, on this, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that Radharani's speech expressing all these feelings of a disappointed lover indicates an intensity of love for Krishna, surpassing even that of the goddess of fortune. While all the gopis are perfectly compatible with Krishna in terms of their beauty, temperament, and so on, Radharani is especially so. In her forlorn state, the present state, Radharani is indicating to Krishna, you are called Uttama Sloka because you are merciful to the wretched and fallen. But if you would be merciful to me, then you would actually deserve this exalted name. Like this, she keeps on talking. She says, keep yourself head off my feet. I know that what you are doing. You expertly learned diplomacy from Mukunda, and now you have come as a messenger from him with flattering words. But he has abandoned all of us for the sake, for his sake alone. And when we have given up our children, husbands, our relations, everything, and he is simply acting as an ungrateful person. Therefore, don't come near us. And the very famous verse, which is she is saying, like a hunter, he cruelly shot the king of the monkeys with his arrows, that is Vali. And because he was conquered by a woman, he disfigured another woman who came on his way with lusty desires. This is Surpanekha. And even after consuming the gifts of Bali Maharaj, he bound him up with ropes as if he were a crow. So let us give up all friendship with this dark complexioned body, even if we can't give up talking about him. Now, please remember, Srimati Radharani and all the gopis, they do not see any difference between Krishna and Lord Rama's incarnation. They are the same, actually, they are the same, but they are different incarnations. Then what happens? To hear about the pastimes that Krishna regularly performs. This is the nectar for our ears. But for those who relish just a single drop of that nectar, even once in their dedication to material duality is ruined. And many such persons have suddenly given up their wretched homes, families, and they have become totally wretched, and they have traveled here to Vrindavana. And she talked about material duality also. And according to the acharyas, and certainly in accordance with the literature, now when we analyze, we'll come to know that the entire all these sentences which are coming out from Srimati Radharani, they mean to say that hearing about Krishna cleanses one's religious duality, and thus one is not vanquished by material illusion. Then also she says that faithfully by taking his deceitful words as true, we have become like a black deer's foolish wives who trust the cruel hunter's song, and they become the prey. And like this, we have also become the prey of Krishna. And that's why Radharani is telling, oh, my friends, I should honor you because please choose whatever boon you wish. But why have you come back here to take us to him, which conjugal love is so difficult to give up? After all, gentle bee, this consort is the goddess Sri, and she is always with him, saying, staying up on his chest. And in the meantime, the bee flying hither and thither appeared before her again. She again thought, Krishna is still kind to me. In spite of the messengers carrying disruptive messages, she is so kind that he has again sent the bee to take me to him. Now, like this, she kept on lamenting, and finally, Radharani addresses Uddhava. He says, "O Uddhava, it is indeed regrettable that Krishna resides in Mathura. Does he remember his father's household affairs and his friends, the coward boys? Does he ever talk about us, about his maidservants, that is the gopis? And when will he lay on our heads his aguru-scented hand?" Like this, Srimati Radharani kept on thinking, since Krishna was once satisfied in Braja but left for Mathura city, won't he also develop a desire to leave that place and go somewhere else? Mathura is so close to Vrindavana that it is it is possible he may even come back here. Now, she also thinks that Krishna is the son of a respectable gentleman, Nanda Maharaj, so he must be staying in Mathura because of his sense of obliging his father, who authorized his going there. On the other hand, while Nanda's whole life is dedicated exclusively to Krishna, Nanda is so innocent that he allowed himself to be tricked by the Yadus and who brought Krishna to Mathura. Krishna must be thinking that since even my father could not bring me back to Braja, what can I do to return? Now, ever since Krishna left, Nanda has been stunned by separation from him, and Nanda's treasury rooms, storehouses, kitchens, sleeping quarters, opulent houses, they are now all vacant. They are unswept, they are uncleaned, they are littered with grass, dust, leaves, like this. And the women in Mathura, and now they associate with Krishna and cannot know how to serve him in this way that pleases him the most. Krishna must tell them that you city ladies cannot please me as much as the gopis of Braja. They are most expert in stringing flower garlands, perfuming their bodies with ointments, playing various rhythms and melodies on stringed instruments, dancing and singing with me at night, like all these things she is remembering and telling the bumblebee, telling Uddhava and all her friends, they are listening. And let us go to, yes. Now, divine madness, Mother. This the Chitrajalpa, we learned about the 10 portions in great detail. The text illustrates the concept of divine madness, and that is the highest stage. And manifesting in Radha reaches the seventh stage, the highest stage. The highest stage is reached by none other than Srimati Radharani, which is known as Mahabhava. For Krishna, this stage thrusts her into an emotional whirlwind with jealousy, yearning, impulsive expressions. It conveys that authentic love transcends conventional emotional experiences, propelling the lover into a divinely inspired state of ecstasy. The emphasis here underscores love's transformative power, illustrating how genuine devotion can stir feeling that defy rational comprehension. Chitrajalpa, Radha's dialogues with a bumblebee serve as an embodiment of the 10 distinct forms of Chitrajalpa we spoke, each showcasing her intricate emotional landscape. And these exchanges span jealousy, pride, longing, vulnerability, illuminating the multifaceted nature of love. Radha's diverse emotions depict love as a dynamic force that encompasses a spectrum of feelings. Which are feelings? Joy, jealousy, longing, frustration, thereby capturing the complexity of inherent in divine relationship. All these things we saw, then let us see about jealousy and belonging. Radha grapples with profound jealousy as she envisions Krishna's interactions with other women in Mathura. And this also I spoke. Her cumulus feelings unearth a deep yearning for exclusive devotion and the agony of separation. And she was burning in the fire of separation, showcasing the profound depths of her commitment. But still, she was totally committed to Krishna and Krishna only and nobody else. And this jealousy poses compelling questions about the attachment and ownership in love, inciting philosophical inquiries into its paradoxes. Such tension suggests that true devotion requires a significant degree of self-surrender. All these gopis, including Srimati Radharani, they were totally surrendered to Krishna and Krishna only. And that's why they were not thinking of anything other than Krishna. And after he left, they even did not take any, hardly took any food. And they never looked after their own bodies also. Now, a challenging endeavor amidst such deep affection, and this all happens due to deep affection, deep love for the Supreme Lord. And critique of Krishna, throughout the passage, Radha articulates her grievances against Krishna, depicting him as a deceiver and expressing indignation over his perceived neglect. And this dynamic exposes the duality of love entwined with frustration and longing. They were separated from Krishna. They wanted to unite with Krishna. They were frustrated, but they were still longing. They were getting pleasure from that longing. And Radha's critics provoke profound philosophical reflections on the devotee divine relationship, emphasizing the necessity of honesty with spiritual connection. One has to be extremely honest and sincere with the spiritual connections. The gopis, they were loving Krishna from their childhood, and it was natural for them. And honestly, they loved him, and that's why they are known as the greatest lovers. And this interplay illustrates how critique can enrich devotion depending the bond between the lover and the divine. Then the next, the role of the messenger. Now the bumblebee emerges as a vital messenger, bridging Radha and Krishna, symbolizing the intricate complexities of communication and love. What Radharani was thinking, Krishna has sent this messenger, that is the bumblebee. Actually, the messenger was whom? Actual messenger who was in front of Radharani was Uddhava only. Now, this messenger is very, very important because the messenger has to communicate with what the message has been sent for the lover. Now, Radha's interactions with the bee unveil her inner turmoil and longing for Krishna's presence. And this figure encapsulates the transmission of divine love and the connection between the devotee and the sacred. The devotee are the gopis headed by Srimati Radharani, and the Lord is the Supreme Lord. He is the sacred, and the relation between them, that is very, very important. And this theme underscores that communication in love is open, multifaceted, encompassing both direct and indirect expressions, thereby enriching the devotional journey. The gopis, including Srimati Radharani, they were taking great pleasure in describing all these things in Bhramar Gita and expressing such all the Chitrajalpa and the other things which we spoke about them. They were taking pleasure, and that is what is most important between devotee and the Supreme Lord in their unconditional devotional service or loving service to Him. And what is the nature of devotion? Radha's dialogue reveals the intricacies of devotion, where love intricately intervenes with criticism. Though she was criticizing Krishna, still then that indicates their love for him. That we the lesser devotees, we should not go to that level because we have not come up to that level. One can criticize the Lord when he loves him so much. That will come at the proper time. And her emotional articulations reflect the struggles that devotees encounter in their relationship with the divine, and the interplay of critique and affection in Radha's expression. They unveil the complexities of devotion, enhancing our understanding of love as a vibrant force that embraces praise and reproach, acceptance and rejection. All these opposing words, sentences, they are there, but they are all reconciled in the Supreme Lord and his great devotee, that is Srimati Radharani. And she was describing with all these words, but she was trying to reject him also. She was criticizing him. But this is what is the sign of love between a devotee in the highest stage, that is the Mahabharata stage, and the Supreme Lord. And the acharyas, they have described in these things in very, very great detail. Let us go to the next slide. Okay, the cultural context. Situated within the rich bhakti literature, this passage captures the spiritual and emotional dimensions of devotion in the Bhagavatam philosophy by the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya. It highlights that love for the divine often emerges through a kaleidoscope of human emotions. These emotions and love, they are very much related. And when the one loves the Supreme Lord, the various types of emotions, they come in the mind of the devotee toward the Supreme Lord. And this is what we have seen in case of the gopis also, in case of Srimati Radharani also. The text advances broader philosophical concepts of bhakti literature, underscores that human feelings and experiences are pivotal for understanding the divine. Our feelings are very, very important. That should be sincere. And our experiences of these feelings and the various leelas, they are also very, very important. And this perspective emphasizes that the sacred can be assessed through personal relationship and emotional engagement. These are very, very important. Personal relationship of the devotee with the Lord and emotional engagement of the devotee with the Lord suggests that true devotion transcends mere worship to evolve into a profound relational experience. That is, between the devotee and the Supreme Lord, a relationship has to be established. It cannot be like the jnanis. That is nothing that in comparison to what the devotees have toward Krishna. And as we know, there are various relationships which we are required to be with Krishna. Then the conclusion, the philosophical significance of these themes lies in their capacity to articulate the complexity of human emotions within the realm of divine love. The love for the Supreme Lord, it is much different from what we find in the material world. And this love between the devotee and the Supreme Lord, this is known as divine love. And it requires the human emotions, and those emotions, they have to be true, they have to be perfect, and then only one can one can think of what love is, and they illuminate how love can be both a source of immense joy and profound anguish, like the gopis. They were grateful, they were very, very happy when they used to see Krishna in front of him. And even if when Krishna was not there, though Krishna left for Mathura from Braja, but as we know, Krishna, the Nandanandan Krishna, he never relinquished or never went even an inch out of Mathura, out of Braja. And these gopis in Saraswati meditation, they used to see him. Whenever they were in great anguish, Krishna used to appear before them. That's why they actually, there was not much difference between them about Krishna appearing or disappearing in front of them. All these things, they were possible because of the great love of the gopis, and these things invite deeper reflections on the essence of devotion, the intricacies of relationship, and the transformative power of love throughout one's spiritual journey. One has to love the Supreme Lord like the gopis, which is very, very difficult, which is the ultimate thing, and nobody has achieved, including the Brajavasis. Their love was also great. Nobody can equal them, but their love is lesser than the gopis headed by Srimati Radharani in Braja, because they had profound feeling, emotions for Krishna, which came to them naturally, being in the female bodies, and that was, and more than that, they were they are the permanent associates of the Supreme Lord, and the Lord had brought them to this material world when he came to perform his Leela, and they did this Leela so nicely that we remember them even after more than 5,000 years. And these are actually very, very difficult terms to explain, and difficult expressions to understand or conceive. But I have tried to explain them, and if you want to know more about them, then you can go through like what I told you, Uddhava Sandesh of Rupa Goswami. And with this, uh, I have completed today's session, Thank you very much for listening to me. Now we'll have the question and answer session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, going through, I have last few, previously also the same philosophy, like Vipralamba and Sambhoga and Vipralamba, how they interact, right, gopis. So Prabhuji, all along I have one question. Krishna sends Uddhava as a messenger, and when Uddhava was with the, gopis, Radharani was there, and also Krishna comes as a bumblebee. So, is there any significance? Because see, he sends the messenger to communicate, and he himself also comes at the same time, right? Same time, right? So,
Okay.
how to see that?
Okay, what was happening here? Uddhava was in front of them. Uddhava
Yes,
had come as the messenger. They knew it.
yes,
But when Radharani saw the bumblebee, she thought she has come as a messenger of Krishna. And through him, she was conveying all these points, all these information, all these feelings to Uddhava, so that
Uddhava.
when Uddhava goes, he tells them. Actually, some acharyas also say that this bumblebee was not none other than Krishna himself, because the gopis, they also knew that Krishna would visit them, but they would not be able to know in which form. So this bumblebee means through the bumblebee, she was conveying the message to Krishna through Uddhava. That is what was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, so Radharani, as she was speaking, Uddhava was hearing, right? All that was going on. So it's like sometimes, you say something to some person, but meant to someone else. So, that kind of, that's how she was communicating. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, Paruji. So nice, so nice. You did very well. Notes were so nice. Each slokas, each words, at the Charu Prabhupada put, you can really talk lot and lot more. But given the time, we have to go. And I think this same. I think we went through many times. I think it's a resonating. Maybe this is the highest again after Ras dance. This is the highest, right? Bumblebee is
What I
the
will
next.
what I will do, I'll share with you those PowerPoints that I did in Priti Sandarbha and other courses. All these 10 Chitra Jalpa that we just saw, that I explained in much greater details. And that time there was no, uh, AI technology. So I had to study and do it in my own words. So I'll share those things, okay? Those
Yeah, here you
slides.
see the words like a little bit of complicated, as you
Yeah.
say. Words are complicated.
The words are not, they sound very kind of artificial, right?
It looks like artificial, a bombastic word,
Yeah.
big words, and
Yeah.
the language. It can be
So
still, as you said that previously. We discussed many times past also. The simple message. It's a little bit of complicated, so we have
yeah,
to
because the
each
very
take.
unusual words the AI technical
They are
uses,
used. They are used, right? And the
and
same
then
word is
it loses the beauty of that thing.
it loses the beauty. It becomes, some catchy word comes up and they develop
Yeah.
that catchy word, right? So
Yeah.
instead of going that central message, and I think you was always saying that, artificial intelligence got some advantage, but it has got also, it loses
Yeah.
that
It loses
many things.
the
Thank you,
the
Prabhuji. Thank you.
exactly. So in Chitra Jalpa, it's a very important thing. So those slides that time when I made, it was my own words. So that you'll enjoy that thing. I'll share with you, okay? But this is
प्रभु जी
extra
डिवोटी
work,
शब्द
extra
होते हैं ना.
reading.
हाँ
This
प्रभु
will
जी.
be extra reading work. That's why I'm telling
प्रभु
you.
जी
You just
डिवोटीज के जो भी वर्ड्स होते हैं, भले उसमें थोड़ी कमी भी हो मगर वो रेलिशिंग लगते हैं.
thank you, thank you.
थैंक यू प्रभु जी.
अच्छा,
Right.
रक्षा बंधन
प्रभु जी.
Did you try
Yes.
the method I gave you? I sent you an email. Did that help for retaining the original?
I did that. I did. Now I'm redoing all these many PowerPoints. I gave all these things, so I'm streamlining. So I give
Okay.
specific message, specific instructions to
Hmm.
this AI. but still I'm not really very happy, you know.
It's not okay. Okay. Sorry, Mataji, you're saying something. Okay.
हाँ
Raksha
प्रभु जी, हरे
Mataji.
कृष्णा.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, प्रभु जी.
Raksha
Yes.
Mataji, we had planned for the other song also. That is also very, very relevant to today's class. That is in Brajvasi, that the words are Uddho, Mananavayad, Dasabis. We do
हाँ
not
प्रभु
have
जी.
10 or 20 minds. Okay, can you sing that? We are
अर्चना माता जी will do tomorrow, प्रभु जी.
Acha, that is for tomorrow. Okay, okay, okay.
हाँ प्रभु जी, अर्चना माता जी is going to do.
Yes,
प्रभु
yes.
जी, यहाँ पे एक पॉइंट मुझे याद आया है कि अगर
Yes.
ये जो ऐसे थ्रू द बम्बल बी, मतलब भंवरे के द्वारा राधा जी ने पूरा मैसेज उद्धव जी को सुनाया, पूरा उनका जो उनका डिस्ट्रेस था, जो भी दुख था, तब तो हम ये समझ सकते हैं कि पहले के जमाने में जब भी बहुत साल, मतलब पुराने जमाने में जब माताएं थी, पिताजी अपने पति से बात नहीं कर सकती थी, मगर जो कुछ कहना होता था तो वो अपने बच्चे से कहती थी. वो अगर वो इन बिटवीन बच्चा होता था और बोलती थी कि ये, और फिर डायरेक्ट उनके हस्बैंड को पहुंचता था. ऐसा मतलब द मीन बीच में, मतलब दिस इज द रिस्पेक्ट. डायरेक्ट नहीं बोलना नहीं चाहिए, मगर एक रिस्पेक्ट कि भाई इसके द्वारा हम ये मैसेज पहुंचा सकते हैं. वो समझ सकते हैं प्रभु जी.
Yes, yes, we can understand that way, but that is a material explanation or example. But here it is in a much, much higher stage. Radharani doesn't want to tell directly to Uddhava. That is through the bumblebee, she is telling Uddhava, so that Uddhava should understand, and when he goes back, he should tell Krishna what are the feelings of the gopis in Braja. Because he is not coming, he had promised to come, but he has not yet come.
प्रभु, दूसरा भी एक क्वेश्चन था ऐसा कि ये हम कैसे समझ सकते हैं कि अगर उद्धव जी और सब सारी गोपियां एकांत में बैठ के ये सारा डिस्कशन करते हैं, तो ऐसा उद्धव जी जो है वो ज्ञाना प्लेटफॉर्म पे है, उनको शास्त्र का पूरा ज्ञान है, तो उसमें ये जो हमारा एक सोशल नॉर्म्स है कि भाई ऐसे एकांत में दूसरे की वाइफ के साथ बैठना नहीं चाहिए और ऐसे बात, मतलब तो ये हम कैसे समझ सकते हैं ये जो पूरा तो अगर उद्धव जी ने ये रूल का भंग किया है?
नहीं, देखो देखो मेरी बात सुनिए. ये जो आप जो कह रहे हैं ना, एकांत में बैठना, भाई वो एकांत में बैठना, दो लवर एकांत में बैठे, वो बात, वो एकांत अलग है, ये एकांत अलग है. ये एकांत उद्धव जी के साथ, मतलब कि away from the company, and they all gopis gathered, and so that they don't have to worry about the elders and all others being present there. So you have to understand, ekant means a different kind of ekant, not like between lovers. Here they followed strict respect for Uddhav ji.
प्रभु, यहाँ पे तो भगवान के बारे में बात है, मतलब ऑल टॉक्स रिलेटेड टू कृष्णा ओनली. तो
वो एकांत अलग था, मतलब कि they took Uddhav ji in a place where they can freely talk to each other. They started crying also in front of him. They started crying.
Yes, Prabhu.
And also, I'll add certain things. Here, as we have seen, Uddhava is the most confident of Krishna. And he was selected by Krishna for various reasons we have seen to come to Braja. Now he is above all these things. What you are saying is very, very correct. This is applicable to all of us. Like there is a verse, there is a verse in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which says that one should not allow oneself to sit on the same seat, even with one's own mother and sister or daughter, because the senses are very strong. This is what is given in the Shastras also. Okay, since you said this, and there is time, I'll tell you two very interesting stories about Delhi. Now, when Lord Rama, he was on exile for 14 years, when he was in Panchavati, one day what happened, every day Lakshmana used to go and get the fruits, roots, and other things for eating. But on that day, Rama said, "You stay here in the hut. I will go to collect them." Now, that means in the cottage, who remained? Lakshmana and Sita. Now, that was a spring season. It was early in the morning, and the air was blowing softly, and from the lotuses which had sprouted in Godavari, the scented air came, and that was the atmosphere. In this atmosphere, what was happening? Lakshmana and Sita, they were talking with each other. They were not only talking, they were laughing loudly, and they were saying to each other. And what were they talking? Now Sita was telling Lakshmana that when I met you for the first time, that time a motherly love came in my mind. This was my first reaction. And remember when that happened, when Sita was 6 years old and Lakshmana was 12 years old. Now they came on exile when the Rama had completed 24 years, and now another 13 years have been completed. Now the age is Rama and Lakshmana, they are about 37 years, and Sita is 31 years. Now when this talk was going on, suddenly a parrot came, and the parrot started talking. You see, in this the spring season, in this the atmosphere, you are talking like this. You know what does it mean? It can lead to something else. Now Sita, she kept quiet, but Lakshmana, he said, "This is not a common parrot. He is he is Indra, the king of the demigods, and he has come." And he answered to him. What he answered? He said, "See, one who is son of King Dasaratha and whose elder brother is Lord Rama, his mind is totally pure and nothing untoward can happen." This is one incident. The other incident I'll tell you, which is from Abhigyana Sakuntalam, that is a drama by Kalidasa. Now here what happens, King Dushyanta, he goes to Kanva Muni's ashrama. Now Kanva Muni's ashrama, he saw a beautiful girl. Beautiful means she was the most beautiful in their time. And in his mind, a desire came in his mind that she should be my wife. She should marry me. Now, with the kings in earlier times, one person who used to accompany, he is known as Vidusaka. Also in drama, this is used. Vidusaka, he is the most learned person, most learned in the Vedas. He can even joke with the king, and actually his job is to advise the king. Now, seeing this attitude of the king, the Vidusaka, he said, "You know who is this girl? She is in Kanvamuni's ashrama. Kanvamuni is he is a Brahmin, and he want to marry his daughter. And when the Kanvamuni he comes to know, he can punish you by burning you and your kingdom. This can happen to you." Then what Dushyanta says, this is very, very important. He says, "See, in my whole life, I have not done anything wrong. I have used dharma. That's why this thought which is coming, it cannot be wrong. It cannot be in the adharmic way." Now he told the Vidusaka, "You please find out who is this girl." Then the Vidusaka went and found out that she was actually Sakuntala, the daughter of Menaka and Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra was a Kshatriya. That's why it was correct for correct for Dushyanta to have a desire to marry her. That means if one is following the path of truthfulness, path of dharma, then all these wrong thoughts will not enter the mind. What to talk of the Lakshmana? Lakshmana, as we know, he is a Vishnu Tattva. And he is the same as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Between Rama and Lakshmana, there are no difference, and there is no difference between Lord Krishna and Balrama, like this. That's why all these things are at a much, much higher level. But what the point, this discussion came from the point that is applicable to all of us, the worldly human beings who are affected by Maya. So that should be kept in mind. Any other comment or question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Dhanavad.
Prabhuji, so when the gopis are, when Radharani is chastising Krishna, saying that he is, he is nirdayi, he is such a person, she is scolding us. In jealous anger, she is accusing him of so many things, like how so many examples you gave, like how a person forgets once the mm, once the objective is achieved, how a guest is being forgotten by the host once he is being hosted, and so many other examples. So that shows do in the material world all the relationships are untrue. Is it that because the material world is, if you say, it is based on such relationships, the existence of material world is on relationships. So you mean to say all the relationship of the material world are untrue?
Well, untrue means what? They are not permanent. They are for a purpose. But what we are talking here of the love between the gopis and Lord Krishna, that is at the highest level. The gopis, they don't want anything from Krishna. Nothing they wanted. They just wanted to see Krishna happy under all costs, under all circumstances. But here, the relationships, what we see in the material world, they are based on some purpose, some expectation. And when that expectation is not fulfilled, then the relationship breaks. This is what is the essence. Like it is in the Sukla Yajurveda, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a very long verse, but I'll tell you certain portions because this is the Vedic literature, it is given in the Veda. It says about this relationships between the husband and wife, the parents and the children, like this. He say, "Nabha are patyu kamaya pati priyo bhavati atmanastu kamaya pati priyo bhavati nabha are jayati jay kamaya jaya priya bhavati atmanastu kamaya jaya priya bhavati." Means no husband, no wife, no father, no son, no wealth can be a cause of love for another person. But a person loves for the sake of a person's own happiness. And everyone loves for the sake of one's own happiness only. It is not out of a need for the husband that the husband is dear, but out of the need for the self, that is the self is dear. And this is a very, very important thing, because nowadays you find that there are so many divorces, that the other things they are happening because everything is based on an expectation. If the expectation is not achieved, then the relationships falls apart. Now, what about the gopis and Krishna? The gopis, they wanted to be with Krishna all the time, but for some reason Krishna went away. The thing didn't happen, but still then they kept all the relationships, because that is what our Shastras say. But in the material world, this is totally untrue, because every relationship is based on a purpose. And if that purpose is not fulfilled, then the relationship breaks. At the level of brother, sister, or brothers, or any other friend, or anything else. So this is the difference between the material world and the spiritual world. Here the relationships, they are transitory, because they are based on some purpose, some expectation. If they are without any expectation, then there is no problem, but it cannot be. It almost cannot be in this material world. And that's why we face these problems. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, some amount of expectation is always there with every relationship we keep. That is very
Yes.
true.
Yes.
Thank you.
प्रभु जी स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में सरेंडरेंस, कंप्लीट सरेंडरेंस होता है, और मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में सेल्फ रिवेंज होता है।
Yes.
सब रिवेंज, अगर आपने ये नहीं किया तो फिर बदला लेने की भावना, इतनी बदला लेने की भावना है बहुत।
Yes, like you saw, see what was there about say 50 years, 100 years back in our own society, what was being followed in the society, all those feelings, they are changing. This is because of the coverage or influence of Maya only. And why this is happening? Because we want to, in this material world, we want to love each other, which is not possible. Therefore, in the material world, what should be done? We should have relationships, and with the Lord we should love him. This should be done. And if the relationships behavior, if it is correct, then the relationship remains. If that falls apart, or that is different than what is expected, then the relationships, they fall apart. So this is what is the truth, and we have to understand that. Any other question or point?
Very good point, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, let's conclude the class, I think. Is there any more questions, cancers?
I think there are no more questions or comments.
So let's, I'm very too tired now to hardly keep my eyes open, Let's
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, kindly send this PPT, huh, Prabhuji?
I will, yeah.
हाँ Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Before we have the Nrsimha prayers, just one announcement. On next weekend, day 2, we will have a discussion on how to improve this recap which we are doing, and what best we can do so that everybody takes part in it and gets the full benefit out of it. So
okay, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji.
We'll have the Nrsimha prayers, please.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to all devotees. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Jala jala jadaini. Jala jala jadaini. हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः तिलटङ्कानफलाये तिलटङ्कानफलाये इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह बहिर्नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह बहिर्नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह नरसिंहवदिं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलवरे नाथा अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गां केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय हो नरसिंहदेव 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 जय हो नरसिंहदेव जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय हो प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव श्री विघ्न विनाशक श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह भगवान की जय हो। भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय हो। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। सर्व भक्त वृंद की जय हो। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हो। टुडे प्रभु जी रामानंद राय अपीयरेंस डे।
Yes.
हरे बोल हरे
Hare
कृष्ण।
Bol.
थैंक यू प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम।
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. Then we meet tomorrow for lesson 84. That is the end of the next portion of Brahma Gita. Hare
So,
Krishna.
Prabhuji,
थैंक यू
today
प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्ण।
Fridays are usually very hard for me, Remember, before this class, 3 hours of academic class, no break
Yes.
in between. In the morning, I went to a funeral, a close friend of mine, his brother passed away. So, and it was very far away, 3 hours of driving, So right from mornings, about 8 o'clock to this whole day, it was a very hard day for me. So I'm really, pardon me, but I
We
was
take rest प्रभु जी।
Please
So
take
we
rest, Prabhuji.
I'm
प्रभु जी
very
आज
sorry
वो
about
माता
that.
जी नहीं ज्वाइन हुए प्रभु जी। आप बोल रहे थे ना आपके दीन आने वाले थे वो
Yeah,
आए नहीं है।
she's a very busy personality. Something must have come up,
अच्छा
दूसरी बात, मैंने वो कोर्स भी तो ज्वाइन नहीं किया ना,
अच्छा
वो
हाँ
उनका एडमिशन भी नहीं किया था, अभी इंटरेस्ट भी कम हो जाता ना फिर।
हाँ राइट राइट। ओके प्रभु जी।
I did not accept their offer,
ओके नाउ यू
Okay,
कंटिन्यू
Prabhu.
विद योर ओल्ड वन प्रभु जी। आपका जो
Yeah,
था वही।
I'm continuing, but still we don't know what's going to happen, We'll see. Thank you very much, everyone. Please accept my
ओके
humble
प्रभु जी। हरे
obeisances.
कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Madhu.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Wonderful
Hare
class.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Jai Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Sure,
Hare
Prabhuji, that
Krishna.
was not an easy class today, it was very difficult. And he did it so wonderfully.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Thank you.
Very well, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.